Good morning, all you beautiful people out there. Welcome back to the All-American Savage Show podcast. I'm your host, John Burke. Today is the last day, thankfully, that I am on my own. My partner, Josh, returns to the studio come Monday morning. Thank God. I know you're tired of hearing me do this horrible intro music again. I am not a sound engineer by any stretch of the imagination, and I appreciate y'all being here today. Before we get into today's episode, we've got a great deal for you. Remember how we did the spend $100 more, get a free tankard from Shell Shock CBD? Well, we're doing it again, and this time it's permanent. So if you go to shellshockcbd.com, and I've got the link right here, you can essentially spend $100 or more and choose to get either a mystery tankard or mug. It's really up to you. As you can see here that I'm holding in my hand, a beautiful handmade mug that we've done right here in the Tipsy's Woodworking. These have been handcrafted, all-American made, all-American wood. And again, don't forget, you get the bottle openers in the bottom. Can take hot and cold liquids. These are valued at roughly $40. The tankards are valued roughly at $70. Spend $100 or more at shellshockcbd.com and get yourself a free tankard. Now, you got to use code WOOD. Again, that is code WOOD. And you're going to you request which one you want, a mystery mug or a mystery tankard. We're going to send you one while supplies last. So again, check that out at shellshockcbd.com. If you're interested, here is the link. You can check this out. I do appreciate your love and support on this one. Here's a link. Let me spam it in the chat. shellshockcbd.com/tipsy-woodworking. Again, use code WOOD to ensure that that product amount that's listed on the website goes away. Otherwise, I think you might pay full price, so don't do that. So spend $100 or more and get yourself a badass tankard or mug. It's really your call. All right, so let's get into it. We want to say thank you again for coming and stopping by on the show and spending your day with me here at the Shell Shock CBD studios. And let's get into this. All right, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's been in the news a lot. She says a lot of things. I have a bad feeling about her. I think she has some good intents, but I think this woman is just a little too unhinged for me. Again, anyone that has spouted off QAnon theories and is now an elected representative of the people, I don't necessarily put my trust in. Again, she's done some good things. She's brought attention to some good things, but she's also someone that endorses a lot of turning point shills. She's pretty much big GOP establishment. She's a Trump loyalist based upon everything she said in the past. Luttrell is running down here in Texas where I'm at now. It's Morgan Luttrell, Marcus Luttrell's brother. Now, I don't know a lot about Morgan's politics. From what I know, he does stand with the Constitution. This is not me endorsing him whatsoever. I've never spoken to the guy directly. But I know she came down to endorse his opponent, who is a young kid from Turning Point, who actually... You know, I see a lot of people are like flocking to her. I'm just telling you, be wary. I'm warning you on this. Just be careful. Excuse me. She endorsed this kid. I forget his name. And this kid also wrote a paper on providing amnesty for illegal immigrants. This kid is turning, dude, it stinks to high heaven. She's a Trump loyalist. She worries me. Anyone that's a Trump loyalist worries me. And I see people trying to hitch their wagon to her. And I'm just sitting here like, just be careful with that. Like, you don't have to hitch your wagon to any politician. I don't know why people don't understand that. You don't have to make your identity a single politician. You can stand aloof from them and say, I agree with this issue. I agree with that issue. But I don't agree with this issue. But when you assume the identity of the person that you voted for, then you are going to have to stand accountable for when they are wrong. Or you can say, I voted for them based upon the things they said. Now, the things they're doing, I don't agree with. We've seen this numerous times throughout the GOP movement, especially in the Libertarian Party. If you don't vote in accordance or have the same thought process or ideas as you're not a real libertarian. Libertarians are their own worst gatekeepers. We've seen this. But the same applies to the Trump loyalist crowd. And I've warned people about this. I've seen Turning Point for years now. They do a lot of good, don't get me wrong. But this is shilling for Daddy Trump. And I can remember I brought this example up many times when Trump talked about take the guns first, due process second. Turning Point, NRA, quiet. Not a word, not a peep. You've lost all credibility to me. When the time came for you to stand for the Constitution, you didn't. You stood for Daddy Trump. That is no different. That is no different than bending the knee to the emperor that you love so much because he's going to save you from the quote-unquote bad guys. But what happens when you don't have accountability for your emperor? The emperor assumes full power. Every congressional candidate on the right now, by and large, for the most part, is trying to seek out that Trump endorsement. Why? Because everyone now says Trump. The GOP is the party of Trump. And this is not me saying I hate or I like Trump. It's saying that what happened to supporting the Constitution? What happened to being a party of America? What happened to being a party of critical thinkers and not tying ourselves into one figure? Because when you do that, that person wields all the power of influence. And it's too late, honestly. I mean, it really is too late. I hate to say this, but it's true. I like a lot of what Trump did. I didn't like a lot of what he did. A lot of what he didn't say, or did say, rather. Excuse me. But when you tie your horse to somebody like that, like I love Austin Peterson. He's a personal friend, but now lately he's been posting a lot about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like he likes her a lot. And I'm kind of confused here. Why are we hitching our trains or our buggies to individual politicians? Like I don't even campaign for anybody. I don't even promote anybody. I just said I'd vote for Alan West in the gubernatorial. I said that's just where I'm voting. This is why I'm voting. But I don't sit there and say, hey guys, go vote for Mike Kent. No, I would rather let people make up their own minds. And if they choose to vote differently, I fully respect that. I don't want to be here and sit here as if I am trying to endorse people. Now, I do have politicians on my show. I love interviewing them, getting their stances. But it's not an actual endorsement, nor will I ever publicly endorse anybody. Not going to. I don't feel like that's my role. I think, and also I feel like that's also kind of treating people like they're stupid. Hey guys, I'm voting for so-and-so and you should too, because what I think is how you should think. And if you're not thinking like me, you're wrong. I'd rather just leave it up to the people. Leave it up to you, the listener, the viewer. Vote according to your own conscience. But all I am saying is that you don't have to tie yourself to a politician and let their identity become your identity. Because then when the time comes for you to be critical of when they're doing wrong or saying wrong, you can't. All you're going to do is double down on defending them when they are wrong. Therefore, truth is no longer an issue. And now it's just about political bias. And once you've hit that level, and this is me speaking, guys, I did this. I was this. I'm telling you, I had to have a wake up. And then when I started waking up and realizing you don't have to be loyal to an individual politician, but be loyal to your Constitution, be loyal to your God, be loyal to whatever you want. But when you wrap your identity around a single person, you're going to follow them. Like I told Austin, it's like, be careful. Be careful with this. You're going to strap yourself to this rocket, and wherever it go. Remember Kanye? Remember Kanye back in the early days of Trump? Kirk and Owen strapped themselves to that rocket, and man, they rode that thing. I called it back then. Did I not? Twitch chat, did I not call it back then? I specifically remember saying it. This is the person. This is the person you want to take your political information from. This guy. The same guy during Hurricane Katrina. Bush hates black people. I called it. What happened to Kanye? He's a fucking basket case. He goes to the Oval Office talking about the president should have hydropower, like whatever. Just wasting time. Wasting time is all that was. So I've warned people, you want to strap yourself to this rocket? You be my guest. But whenever that thing blows up, you're going with it. And don't even sit there and pretend like you get to take an easy pass when it does blow up. It's like, oh, well, you know, I didn't really support. No. You made her your identity. Good luck. You follow it. Now, with that being said, this brings up another point of this news article, which is very disturbing. Anonymous threatens to not be kind to Russian asset U.S. Representative Green. Okay, this is where we're at right now in our society. So many Americans have been bamboozled and fooled into thinking that Ukraine is just, that Ukraine is a good country. The corruptibility in Ukraine is insane. And I'm going to dive more into this on the show today because I have some people that you need to know who they are. These are key strategic players in the 2014 coup and the after effects. You need to know this. You need to be educated on this. But now, if you don't agree with aligning with Ukraine, this is how we see social media. They say if you don't agree with aligning with Ukraine, you must be a Putin puppet or a Russian propagandist or a Russian stooge. Cool buzzwords. Sounds good, right? Yeah, cool. Good for you. Better dead than red, right? The same thought process was applied to the COVID scare. If you don't want to get the vaccine, according to those that are pushing it and want it mandated and forced on you, in their mind, if you were against taking this vaccine, it automatically puts you into the category of being an anti-vaxxer. That makes no sense. Because what you've done is you've removed the ability of people to think for themselves, but instead you categorize them automatically based upon a small amount of information. But if they would take the time and sit there and ask you, why do you not want to take the vaccine? Simple explanation. We don't have long-term clinical trials on this thing. We don't know the outcome of this. All the data has been skewed. It's political activist data. I am actually pro-vaccine. I am anti-taking this vaccine right now until I see the long-term effects. I'm not going to buy the car until I drive it. In this case, I'm not going to take the vaccine until I see a lot of data over a lot of years, and ultimately, I don't need the vaccine. The science changed again. Remember the antibodies, all that stuff? It changed again. But now, in regards to the Ukrainian situation, if you don't support Ukraine, you're automatically a Russian apologist. That makes no sense to me. Where Marjorie Taylor Greene stands, I don't necessarily agree with, because we're going to get into this article and what she said. But I'm telling you right now, this ignorant, lazy thinking that has been embraced by the left and the right in many situations has just gone off the chart into the realms of stupidity. So, this is what worries me. Anonymous. For those that don't know, Anonymous is the hacker group. They're all apparently just a bunch of hackers, and they hack people and cool. Okay. Anonymous threatens to not be kind to Russian asset U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. International hacking group Anonymous has leveled a threat at Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. History will not be kind to you, nor will we. I mean, yeah. The threat comes a day after Greene released a nearly 10-minute video in which she stated Ukrainians are fighting a war against Russia they cannot win. Now, this is where I disagree with her at. Her video, posted on Facebook Live hours after Ukrainian President Zelensky spoke to the U.S. Congress, also criticized President Joe Biden for saber-rattling and dragging America into World War III by offering financial and military support to Ukraine. Okay, when you say you're fighting a war you can't win, do I think Ukraine's going to hold off against Russia? I think it's a matter of like starving. If they can starve Russia economically for long enough, I think Putin will withdraw. I don't see it happening, though. I think he probably will take Ukraine. But I am certainly not going to sit here and tell them as a sitting congressional representative and say, surrender, stop fighting, you're not going to win. What? Like, what right do you have to tell them that? You should have told that to the Taliban. I mean, stop fighting American forces. Stop it. You'd have no chance of winning. Come on. What are you talking about? You really want to tell them that? And I have to clarify, I don't agree with what Russia's doing. But I don't agree with the history of Ukraine and what they've done. I have to keep hammering this point home. They are all evil in this. It's all evil. And that's why I don't believe America should get involved. But Marjorie Taylor Greene saying something like this, it's like, I don't necessarily agree with doing that. But the article continues, while Greene's comments echoed those of other conservative pundits, they likely angered the hacker group since the collective has actively pursued Russian cyber targets since Russia invaded Ukraine. In my mind, good for Ukraine for sticking up for itself. That's what should happen. They are fighting back a superpower. They're doing a damn good job. I'm actually impressed. I am very impressed. But they're beating the brakes off Russia, apparently, supposedly. Again, that is propaganda. I can't even say, I don't know. Everything we see in the news is just sheer propaganda. Fox has jumped in on this. At least Marjorie Taylor Greene is right in the fact that she does not agree with us getting involved in Ukraine. I do respect that about her. I saw Candace Owens had tweeted out about this was corruption. I agree with her on this one. Russian asset Marjorie Taylor Greene will go down in history as one of the dumbest politicians ever. History will not be kind. Wait, hold on. Look, I'm not saying that she's fucking Charles Darwin over here or Albert Einstein. But really? Dumbest? Excuse me. Have you not heard of AOC, Ilhan Omar? Are you kidding me? I'm not a fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene. But you're telling me that she's the dumbest? Have you heard some of the shit that has come out of AOC's mouth? She was literally just quoted as saying the fossil fuel thing leads to the raping and murdering of indigenous women. What? What? They live in this world that they can make these outlandish claims based upon historical evidence and try and make it applicable in a contemporary fashion. That's ridiculous. Who's being raped? Who's being murdered? I would like to know, because I'll stand with you against that. I think that's bullshit. But this is just another tactic that politicians use, slimy politicians like AOC, tries to use to justify her green movement. But AOC also does not seem to understand, just like how they wanted to just restructure all of America's infrastructure into being green energy. Americans cannot afford to go out and buy a $50,000, $60,000 Tesla. We can't. What the hell am I watching on this? This is weird. We can't. Solar panel installation, $25,000 to $40,000. Americans can't afford that. You'll bankrupt the entire country. So the point being is, there have been a lot of congressmen and women that say some really stupid shit. Marjorie's not the first, and she's certainly not going to be last, but she's certainly not the dumbest. But again, I digress. Russian asset Marjorie Taylor Greene will go down. Blah, 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 blah. History will not be kind to you, nor will we. The Twitter account, Your Anon News, wrote on Wednesday afternoon, the account is one of several decentralized Twitter accounts associated with the group. How is this allowed on Twitter? How is this allowed on Twitter? You've got a known hacking group that conducts illegal operations, and they're allowed on Twitter? Make that make sense to me. Well, it doesn't have to make sense, because these are Twitter's rules. We'll ban a president. We'll ban conservative voices. But you have cyber terrorists. And don't get it twisted. Anonymous is not the good guys. They're not. We just so happen to be on the same side on this one. Roughly. Not really. Come to think of it. They support standing with Ukraine. I don't. Be careful. That wild animal that is fighting on your side, it will turn on you. Why is this group allowed to be on social media? We know why. The hypocrisy is real. But apparently Bill Kristol tweeted out, betting against America basically is what he called Marjorie Taylor Greene. He said, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene recommends betting against America. This is in response to what she said. We are playing with the same starting lineup that abandoned Americans in Afghanistan, armed Taliban, and got 13 killed. Saudi talks to Z, but not Biden. That's not true. That's true. My bad. Biden is making a deal with Iran, and they fired missiles towards our consulate. That is true. This isn't the team you bet on. I agree with her here. I actually tweeted this out. I didn't read this until today. I tweeted this out yesterday, the day before. Say like we do get pulled in. Say like we do get pulled in to another war. And this administration has to turn to a wartime one. Do you really trust this administration to effectively fight a war against another superpower? Do you really feel that way? I don't think Biden has the ability to be a wartime leader. I don't. I sincerely don't. I have no faith in him or his administration. You've got a VP, again, like we talked about in yesterday's episode. Her geography is horrible. These are ignorant people. But apparently Bill Kristol said that Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that makes her betting against America. It's not betting against America. It's saying we should probably have, the varsity team in play before we actually go to war, if we went to war. These people are so ignorant. They're so ignorant in these statements. So you're betting against America? Yes, in a sense, I guess. I'm not rooting for Russia, but I'm betting on the fact that we're going to get our asses creamed because we don't have competent leadership that can lead during periods of war. We do not. You know what I love, though? All this fake outrage. By virtually everybody on social media. All this fake outrage. They're killing women and children in Ukraine. The Russians are horrible people. The Biden administration drone strikes, kill 7 kids. None of y'all gave a fuck. All you did was you pulled a whataboutism. Well, what did Trump do? Oh, no, monsieur. No. Oh, no, we are not going down that road. Is your president. You answer for him. You voted for this piece of shit. You tell me. That's what they try and do. Even CNN continues trying to run the very same headlines in hopes of pulling more whataboutisms regarding Trump. It's not the way it works. You liberals, you wanted to sit there and say that Trump was handed Obama's economy, and the economy flourished under Trump because of Obama. Really? So it's a hand-me-down state of mind for y'all. Okay? With that being said, then, the same rules apply. Same rules apply. Biden's in charge. He's the man. He botched the withdrawal. Killed 7 kids. And you don't give a shit. All you do is instead of saying they fucked up, this administration has blood on its hands. And I'm not saying Trump or Bush and the rest of them didn't either. Of course they did. But you're very eager to finger point at the right when it happens, but you won't say anything about the left when Biden does it. Now, again, your virtuous pearl-clutching outrage about Ukraine, you're quiet when it's brown people, but when it's, See where this is going? Bill Kristol calls her betting against America, and she responded, and she said, I'll tell you what, Pumpkin. How about you suit up and report to your commander-in-chief yourself and tell him you're reporting for duty? Misspelling your, it's Y-O-U''. You might want to train a little first. The only thing in shape on you and prepared for war is your little Twitter thumbs. It's pretty funny. I'll give her that. I'll give her that. But the point being anonymous. Continue reading the article here. Anonymous says Russian asset Marjorie Taylor Greene will go down in history as one of the dumbest politicians ever. History will not be kind to you, nor will we. Hashtag anonymous. Is that a threat? It sounds like a threat. You're threatening a sitting congresswoman. But it's allowed. It's allowed. Facebook has allowed us to call for violence against Russia and Russians. You're encouraging discrimination based upon nationality, when in fact these Russian citizens, a good chunk of them had nothing to do with this war and don't want anything to do with this war, but they are controlled through Putin's administration. How many people has he imprisoned so far of demonstrators that are disappearing off the streets? You're economically destroying these people that want nothing to do with this war, all because of Putin's actions. And then Facebook has the audacity to come out there and say, well, we are going to call for violence against Russia and Russian citizens. I would rather call for violence against Facebook and Instagram. I would rather violence be thrown your way. You need a taste of what you create. You really do. You need a taste of what you're trying to perpetuate against innocent people that had nothing to do with this. You sit there and you ban Trump, and Biden accused him of being a xenophobe when he wanted to close the border with China due to COVID, and you scream to the sky about how racist, how horrible he is. Granted, we're talking about race versus nationality. I understand that, but the premise of the point still stands. You demonized him. And Biden says, I've got a plan. Trump doesn't. And then you have no plan. Your plan was bullshit. And the federal government surrendered and said it's up to the states. And the states are surrendering, saying, we got to live with it. It's like we've been saying that all along. It's crazy to me. In Green's video, she called Russian President Vladimir Putin's actions in Ukraine despicable and evil and said, how could you accuse her of being a Russian stooge when she literally condemns Putin? It's horrible. But again, if you don't agree with us on the left, then you're automatically on the opposite side of the spectrum. That's not the case. And the same with Ukraine versus Russia. My stance is, fuck them both. We don't need to be there. We don't need to get involved. You don't have to choose a side in this. The simple fact that the MSM is pushing nonstop propaganda, congressmen and women are pushing nonstop propaganda. I have never seen it this bad before. I'm being realistic here. I have never seen it this bad before in my entire life in regards to propaganda being spread through the MSM. You've got TikTok A Gen Z app. And let me explain this to the people out there that just don't understand this. They don't grasp this, okay? Biden administration knows that Gen Z is prominent on TikTok. That's the youth. That's where they're at over there. Biden knows exactly what he's doing when he's recruiting 30 of the top prominent figureheads on TikTok to brief them in order for them to turn around and parrot the talking points that Psaki tells the press. Why? Because most Gen Zers don't really give a shit about what's going on. I mean, I didn't either. I won't lie about that. But Biden knows these kids are also 18 years old and they vote. They vote. Do you really think these 18, 19, and 20-year-olds are really diving in depth to who it is they're wanting to vote for and what? No. They're going with the cool thing. Hey, fuck Republicans. They're racist. They're bigots. They're xenophobic. I'm going on the cool side where we don't discriminate. We're inclusive. Sounds great in theory, but your same party is ridiculous. It's on fire right now. But Biden knows this. There's one girl I looked up. She's 18 years old, and all she does is a little twerk dance on TikTok, and then has the audacity to turn around and say, ask me your questions. Ask me your questions about Ukraine because I can answer them because I'm an influencer. How is that any different than celebrities opening their mouths that are so out of touch with reality and telling us what we should and shouldn't do or how to think or what to think? The same elite class that live in their ivory towers, that condemn guns and walls, that are guarded by guns and walls, have the audacity to tell the common average American what you should and should not be allowed to have. The same thing with these TikTok influencers. This is cancer. So I'm going to say something and you listen to what I'm telling you. If you get your news, or rather, if you get your instruction on how to think from a TikTok influencer that probably doesn't even pay taxes yet, listen when I say this, you are fucking stupid. Social media has given license to children that should actually shut the fuck up, that don't know what they're talking about. You've got no real world experience. None. You're 18, 19, 20 years old. You don't know shit about fuck. So, without social media, in the real world that existed before this cancer was created, no one would have listened to you because you didn't know shit. But a large following suddenly, to many people, equates to you know what you're talking about. And then you look up these TikTok stars, and all they do is dance. And I'm not against that. Please don't get me wrong. I don't hate, I'm on TikTok. You can look me up. I'm John Burke over there. I got like 150, 130,000 followers over there. It's great. I just post John Ross shit. I don't take it seriously. But when you do take it seriously, from a child, and this is what the left does, we need to listen to the children. My 4-year-old boy says he wants to cut his pee-pee off. I'm going to give him puberty blockers because he just wants to be a girl, and we should listen to the children. You parents that do that deserve a bullet in your head. I'm not even playing. I am not even playing. You are disgusting individuals that you would ever condone for your child to undergo a change at such a young age before your body and brain are even remotely close to being fully developed. Disgusting. The fact that we even have to have these conversations in this world is appalling to me. Now, I'm not going to lie. If we have a civil war, those are the first ones that need to get killed. Based upon their tweets, their posts, you find them, you hunt them down, and you eliminate them. The purge that society needs starts with these groomers. It starts with these pedophile lovers. These are disgusting human beings. Leave the children alone. You've got no business, like in Florida, discussing sex with a 5, 6, 7-year-old. None. That is not your right. You're an education, you're academia. You've got nothing to do with that. Not until biology in school. And even then, you shouldn't even be talking about any of that stuff in regards to like genders and pronouns and all that ridiculous attention-seeking whoring shit. That's all it is. These people are disgusting, unhinged perverts. You look at Sodom and Gomorrah, we're going the exact same way. I don't want to share a country with you. I wish death on you. I'm being serious. I've got no love for you. None. We've got to stop being so forgiving of these people and tolerant. I'll be tolerant under the idea of freedom to choose when you are of age to do so. But when you force your political ideology on innocent children in an attempt to score political points against the other side by taking your child and turning them trans, intentionally doing it, and then parading them around through the streets as if you're some kind of woke great parent, you are a disgusting individual. You are disgusting. Horrible, horrible people. Can you imagine a child, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old child that some of these twisted individuals want to give puberty blockers to? Children. I'm at a loss. I am honestly at a loss. Let me get back on topic because I tend to do that from time to time. I apologize. I go off topic. But I have no love for these people. I don't want to share a country with you. I would rather see you put into a camp. The worst, most violent death should befall you. Disgusting individuals. And look, I'm being completely serious here. I don't see this on the right. I don't see this on the right. I see it on the left. Because if it was on the right, I'd sure as fuck call it out. And if anybody can show me proof of anybody on the right doing this, prominent figures, let me know. Let me know. Because I want to see it. It's all these woke progressives. Oh, by the way, good news. Good news. Daddy Savage is now on Truth Social. Got my account. I got an email. I think it was last night. Got an email. They said my account's been set up. I guess y'all get this. Yeah, Truth Social. It said, welcome to Truth Social, John Burke. Your full handle's John Burke. We are very excited to welcome you to our truth-seeking community. We believe in free expression and encourage all viewpoints as we do not discriminate against political ideology. Also, a friendly reminder, we are a new platform. We're still fixing many bugs in our technology. We promise we are working as hard as we can to make things better and fast as possible. I'm going to give it a chance. So far, it's a decent app. It's very reminiscent of, I want to say, kind of like a mix between Parler and Getter. It's simple. It's kind of like a Twitter model. And I love the fact that people are like making fun of this, like, Trump copied Twitter. It's fucking stupid. It's like, no, that's brilliant. I love the fact that he ripped off Twitter. I love that. You're going to kick me off your platform? That's fine. I'm going to copy yours and make it even better. I love it. I love it. You can find me on Truth Social at John Burke. One word, I believe. I'm over there. So that's new. That's good. We're going to try to make a push to go over there. We'll just see how it goes. Honestly, best case scenario, and in my mind, best case, is it blows up. It's awesome. I just wish there was something Facebook similar-ish to that level. But I have. It's just there's so many different apps out there now. It's hard to dictate where you're going to go. So, all right. I want to go on to the next article here. Putin appears at huge pro-war rally as Russian troops continue to attack on Ukraine. Putin called the invasion necessary defense against genocide, a claim rejected by the West. To defend against genocide. Russian President Vladimir Putin appeared on a massive rally in Moscow Friday, applauding his troops as they continue pounding Ukrainian cities with shelling and missiles. Again, I'm not in agreement with this. I don't condone this. I understand why he's doing it. I get that. But I still don't agree with it. Like, I understand the reasoning. I just wouldn't. It's just wrong. He says, we know what we need to do, how to do it, and at what cost. And we will absolutely accomplish all of our plans. Putin, wearing a white turtleneck and blue jacket, told the crowd gathered in and around Luzhniki Stadium. Approximately 200,000 people were in attendance, many waving Russian flags, according to Russian police and state-run media. State-run media and Russian police, right? Yeah. You will cheer for president or you will die. You'll go gulag and you'll not come back. You cheer. I said you cheer. This is right. Putin praised the soldiers at the celebration to mark the 8th anniversary of Russia's seizure of the Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine in 2014. Shoulder to shoulder, they help each other, support each other, and when needed, they shield each other from bullets with their bodies like brothers. Such unity we have not had for a long time, he said during the 5-minute speech. He called the February 24th invasion necessary to defend against the genocide of Russian-speaking people in Ukraine, a claim flatly rejected by the West. Why is the West rejecting this? After the 2014 coup, not long after, they started shelling Russian-speaking Ukrainians that were more loyal to Russia. They killed almost 14, I think maybe it was 14 or over 14,000 Russian loyalists that lived in Ukraine. I believe it was Eastern Ukraine. Ukraine split into two pretty much. And they shelled them for it. They killed them after they violently overthrew a government. And we got another article, and I called this one CIA involvement. Called it. We're going to get to that. There's a lot of pictures. If you're watching me on Twitch right now, you can see what's going on in the background here. You got Vladimir Putin. You got crowds. These do not look like very happy people. I don't see any smiles. This is like one of those forced things to where it's like, yeah, I don't see. They're all forced to be there. They're not happy. It's cold. We were told there'll be hot dogs. I see no hot dogs. What the fuck? I see Putin and I get no hot dog. I feel cheated. This is not cool. State television, which featured a speech briefly cut out due to a technical glitch, according to Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov. Putin quoted Russia's 18th century naval commander Fyodor Yushchekov to indicate that Russia would prevail in Ukraine. He once said that these thunderstorms will go to the glory of Russia, the president said. That is the way it was then, and that is the way it is now, and will always be that way. The event was held inside a soccer stadium that was used in the 2018 Soccer World Cup. The slogan, "For a world without Nazism," appeared on the stage where Putin spoke. Putin's smart in the strategy. For those that don't know, Ukraine has enlisted, or not enlisted, but they have a group called the Azov Battalion. And they're not as small as the press is making them out to be. They're trying to minimalize this fact. You can go look this up. The Azov Battalion are a group comprised of literal Nazis. No, liberals, not Nazis according to you, that anybody that disagrees with me, you're a Nazi. And they can't even tell you what like the Nazi ideology was in the political spectrum. They can't. Over there in Ukraine, they have them. They have them. An entire battalion. Well, John, they're just fighting for Ukraine. They are in the Ukrainian National Guard. They are sanctioned in there. They are funded. So now liberals that detest Nazis so much, you are waving these Ukrainian flags. I stand inside like these stupid fucking little bitch influencers painting painting a stupid fucking Ukrainian flag on their hand. Their nice little dress, and they're like taking photos in front of buildings and shit. They're what are you doing? What is this? It's the most ridiculous shit I've seen in my life. These stupid skin and bone little fucking influencers. I stand with Ukraine. I've got this Ukrainian flag on my hand. We should stand with them. So you want to stand on the side that has Nazis? Okay. No, Nazis are bad. Those are Republicans. No. There's literal Nazis over there. There is. Well, they must not be real Nazis. No, they are. They admit it. They openly. Well, I just stand with Ukraine. Which part of Ukraine? Which part of Ukraine? Explain that to me. That's an interesting concept to me. These fucking influencers. These fucking influencers that know about shit about fuck. You just come over here and you repeat the talking points for clicks, likes. And I always find it funny when people accuse me of doing the same thing. You're just doing this for the clicks and the likes, John. You're just a sellout. Have you not heard half the shit I've said? I go against half the people in the GOP. Majority of you out there listening are Republicans, and I used to be one. And my enemy was the left. Until I woke up and realized, wow, the GOP is no different than the fucking DNC. You're literally one and the same. You're the two sides of the same fucking coin. And then I alienated myself from Republicans. So now I'm surrounded on both fucking sides. Democrats, you're full of a lot of shit. Republicans, you're full of some shit. But I don't agree with either of you on a lot of these points. If I was doing this for likes and clicks, I'd be way more fucking popular. Because all I would do is parrot Daddy Trump, Mike Lindell, all this crazy shit, have no individual thought for myself. But all I would do is try and get close, like a lot of these influencers do. Try and get close to the White House. Get that following. Get more money. Get more fame. Get more power. And then you turn around and you sell out the very same founding document because you want to have Trump's pee-pee in your mouth. You still with me? You turned me off yet? I wouldn't blame you if you did. I cannot imagine living a life where you have to lie and project yourself as being a certain way on social media for the sake of gaining popularity. We have to be so nice. Everything on social media has to be so nice. I'm such a good person. Look at me. I'm such a good person. You should like me. You should like me and follow me. And then check out my makeup tutorials and you can use my code and get this makeup. You should like me. I'm a likable person. Well, how do you feel about Ukraine? I like them. I want them to like me. Our society needs to bring back Darwinism. We need to bring back Darwinism. The minute the FDA got involved and started forcing us to slap on warning labels, that's when we went wrong. Every village has an idiot. We got a lot of them. And unfortunately, people buy into their bullshit propaganda hook, line, and sinker. Back to the original point. The Azov Battalion on the Ukrainian side does exist. It's there. It's real. And the MSM, Fox, the rest of them, go look at Fox. Go look at CNN. Go look at these mainstream media outlets. None of them are covering the Azov Battalion. They won't touch it. They know why. If you put a highlight on that, you are discrediting Zelensky, you are discrediting Ukraine, and you're going to lose a lot of the support you once had. Why do you think Biden went to TikTok? It's fucking brilliant. It's propaganda at its core, ladies and gentlemen. That's all this is. And you got to love this. I have to retract what I said yesterday. I was wrong. Remember when I talked about yesterday that Biden wouldn't even condemn Putin as a war criminal? I was wrong. He actually did. I got to take that back. There was a clip circulating, and they edited it. They cut it. That's why I'm saying you can't believe fucking anything you see anymore. And there was this blonde female interviewer in the White House. I think she's a Republican interviewer or journalist. And President Biden is walking by. She goes, President Biden, will you call Putin a war criminal? He says no, and he keeps walking. I'm like, why wouldn't you condemn him? Why wouldn't you say he's a war criminal? Are you kidding me? We're fighting a proxy war with Russia via Ukraine. Were you kidding me? But the extended clip I saw yesterday evening, Biden turned around and said, wait, were you asking me to call him a war criminal? She's like, yeah. He says, yes, he is. And then he walks off. They didn't show that part. Again, misinformation, propaganda. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think Biden is handling this the right way. I think he is. I think we've done too much. But as long as Biden does not try and push the no-fly zone or fall victim or be persuaded emotionally through Zelensky's pleas for help and Ukraine does its own fighting, I think he's doing this right. We're backing our NATO allies. We're strengthening our troops over there. That's the alliances. I get it. But Ukraine is not our fight. Ukraine has also come out and said they don't want to be a part of NATO. Then why is NATO protecting them? It's like saying, hey, if you want to be part of our club, you can come be part of our club. And this is what is afforded to you in our club. You get protection, economic trade, all this great stuff. It's great. But you don't get any protection if you're not in our club. Well, these guys are not in the club. Why are we protecting them? Oh, I know why. And we're going to get to that here in a little bit. Because when this first kicked off at the end of February, we were all stunned in this. I knew very little about Ukraine, very little about Russia. And everybody starts parroting the same talking points. It's like, wait, there's something off about this. There's something we're not being told. This doesn't make sense. And then I started doing a lot of digging. I started digging up old videos from these Russian experts. And they started briefing all these talking points and all these things about how Ukraine was the West's fault. And I'm like, wait, what? And you start watching. I mean, many of my Twitch fans, many of the Lost Savages, you were with me. We watched these together. The nighttime streams we did. When we first saw the invasion, we covered it here on Twitch. We watched it together. And then we started watching these videos together, saying, wait a minute, okay, now we're starting to learn the history of Ukraine. We're starting to learn a lot of this stuff. We're starting to educate ourselves on this and say, wait a minute, there's something wrong about this. We're being lied to. And you start looking about the 2008 Georgian attempt on Russia, how they get their asses creamed, and you find out why. And you look at the 2014 coup in Ukraine. A pro-friggin' Russian government that was democratically elected was violently overthrown and installed a pro-Western government. And one of the presidents I want to look at, and I'm going to do it here. Fuck it, we'll get into it now. Fuck it, we'll do it live. His name is Petro Poroshenko. He was the president of Ukraine from 2014 to 2019. Now, Poroshenko was no Western ally. He apparently, publicly, he wasn't a friend of the West. But we did dealings with the West. He was installed under the Obama administration. Literal documented audio evidence. I've heard it. Twitch, you've heard it with me. We watched the videos together. Of us, America, talking to our Ukrainian ambassador saying there was two factions during the overthrow. Two factions that were competing for control of Ukraine. This dude led one of them. This is the guy that the West said, back him. Back this guy. Shortly after he is put into power, Hunter Biden gets a deal, gets a job with one of the largest energy companies in Ukraine. My, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? And don't forget, this is the Obama administration who is vice president. This guy's net worth is insane. He's a candy company guy, right? He's also the president. Now, there are accusations of Ukraine being a money laundering operation for the DNC. I don't know. I don't know enough about that much. What I do know is this guy was installed. You know, America didn't have anything to do with it. Really? Okay. That's interesting to me. Just came out. CIA secretly trained Ukrainian forces. Jesse Waters interviewed an expert who's had dealings with this. Now, the article says after the overthrow. Really? Do you really think, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just asking you to think for yourselves on this. Do you honestly think the CIA was not involved in helping this and facilitating this? Are you kidding me? When have we seen this before? Oh, numerous times. Muad'Din, the 80s with the Russians. I mean, fuck. Every time we stick our nose in this shit, we wind up having to go back years later and fight them. Wake up. Wake up. It's literally been confirmed. And did or did I not call that? Did or did I not call that? Now, to be fair, I called it after we watched the videos together. Remember? I said, America had hands in this. I know we did. We listened to the audio. Said, yeah, back the Western guy, the pro-Western guy. And suddenly we start getting deals with Ukraine. And then you have your Mitt Romneys out there. And even your Crenshaws. Oh, there's no bio labs over there. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. Now, I don't remember if Crenshaw said there was. I think he did. Because I remember reading it and I was just like, wait, what, dude? What? And suddenly these biolabs that didn't exist before now suddenly exist. And they're worried about Russians getting their hands on it. It's almost like maybe we didn't learn our lesson. Granted, this is years ago. With the gain of function research of coronavirus in Wuhan. We keep doing these things and they're blowing up in our faces. We help facilitate and orchestrate this overthrow to install a pro-Western government in Ukraine. And I've went over this. Ben Shapiro is adamant about us fighting Russia. I am not. We haven't hit that point yet. And he talks about how Ukraine being the buffer between NATO and Russia is not a legitimate reason. And I'm sitting here saying, because his reasoning, his rationale is that, what about these Baltic states that border Russia? Well, what about them, guys? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. He has no buffer there. Yes, interesting take, Ben. But those states are also 100% dependent on Russian oil. So while they're still protected by NATO, they're going to do the bidding of Russia. Come on. And a lot of you don't know that Bush Sr., after the collapse of the Soviet Union, NATO started to expand. And Bush Sr. made a deal with Russia saying we will not expand any further because Russia was basically saying your sphere of influence is growing too big. You're becoming an international threat and we don't like it. Checks and balances on the international stage, right? Absolutely. Because let's flip the script on this. What if China and Russia were in an alliance with, say, for example, Iran or Saudi, and then they start bringing in Mexico and Canada? Now you're starting to see the picture of geopolitics in a sense. America would not be cool with that. We don't want somebody on our southern and northern border that, God forbid, they could put missiles in these countries and be right on our border. They could land an invasion force there. Of course we'd be against it. So then what right do we have to be upset that Russia wants the same thing, saying, stay the fuck away from us. Stop expanding. I spoke with Crenshaw today. He is very pro-diplomacy. He's very pro-foreign interest. I'm not. He said he does want to expand. Well, I'm not going to. We should increase our alliances. And I'm not completely in disagreement with that. But just like China and Russia have said, all we're trying to do is undermine their sphere of influence. Note, with Ukraine and all this stuff, Russia was providing spec ops to go in there and train Eastern Ukrainians to fight back. They were giving them arms, all kinds of stuff. This was a war that we should never have got involved in. Never gotten involved in. And all my stance is, I don't see Putin moving beyond Ukraine if he does take it. I don't see him continuing. His economy is trashed. His troops are strung the fuck out. He's taken way too many casualties. He realized that Ukraine put up a bigger fight than he could realize. If he pushes beyond Ukraine, he stretches himself insanely thin. And don't forget, even if he takes the city of Kiev and the rest of these, you're still going to be dealing with I shouldn't say terrorists, fighter cells. We saw the same in Baghdad. We saw the same thing in Crete, Fallujah, Najaf, Ramadi. You can take a city and still not have full control over it because you still got rebels that live within it. They're going to be picking you off at every turn. You got to deal with that fucking headache. Well, John, how do you know that? 4.5 years dealing with it, baby. 4.5 years right here in Baghdad to Fallujah to you fucking name it. Even into the Korangal fucking Valley in Afghanistan was there too. I can tell you right now, you think it's just easy to come in there and blitzkrieg it and then hold it. It's not so simplistic anymore. There is no forward line of troops. It's asymmetrical warfare. So now Putin's come to a pause, a stop, because these cities are putting up fights. They're putting up resistance. I'm impressed with Ukraine. I am. Did not see them lasting this long. Now, if Putin continues, what's he got left? Where's he going? Everything is NATO. If he fires a shot against NATO troops, it is war. Putin is not stupid. He knows this. He knows he can get away with taking Ukraine because Ukraine used to be a part of the Soviet Union. But then Ukraine was also the buffer zone. And the EU basically tried to influence Ukraine more and more and more. America did. And Russia's like, fucking stop. Stop doing this. And we didn't. So Putin's like, you know what? You got a weak president? I'm taking it back. You didn't listen? I'm going to take it back. So my point here is this. Innocent civilians in Ukraine and Russia, and military by and large, if you think about it, are dying because of what government figureheads had to do as far as power and influence. That's where I stand. And before all this bullshit over there pulls us in, I don't want American men and women, I don't want our boys and girls fighting off to go marching off to war from Middle East 2.0, because I got news for you. If you really think we go to Ukraine, and if we did liberate it, we would have to have a presence there for the rest of the time. Now, what's that going to do? Because if we pull out of Ukraine, Russia's going to take it right back. They've already done it. They've already done it. They're not going to stop. So if we have a permanent presence in Ukraine, we are right on Russia's doorstep. You think they're going to be cool with that? Fuck no. This escalates even further. Putin knows this. He is not stupid. All the press, all the MSM is trying to paint this guy as unhinged. He's stupid. He's losing it. This guy is smart. Do not underestimate him. He is by far one of our biggest enemies out there. But again, nobody seems to realize that Russia isn't even the ones to be worried about. It's China. I'm telling you, it's China. China's going to do everything they can to stay out of this. They're just in the back, kind of just like helping Russia silently. I guarantee they're doing fiscal backdoor deals with them. I guarantee it. And China's just saying, "Oh, we're not condemning it, but we're not getting involved." But what happens when they have no choice and they get pulled into this? Then it's World War III. All of this because elected officials and leaders wanted more power, more sphere of influence, more money, more everything, when you should have just left it the fuck alone. And I'm not so old that I don't remember when Trump was being accused of quid pro quo with Ukraine. Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Oh, Ukraine's not corrupt. Oh, that's interesting, because wasn't it Zelensky that said there was no quid pro quo on a telephone interview with Trump, and they wanted to impeach him for it? Do y'all remember that? I do. My, how quickly we forget. How quickly we forget, especially liberals. How quickly we forget the things that we accused Trump of doing, or that you accused him of doing, with Ukraine. Suddenly, Zelensky is the God King of the Ukraine. Oh my God. He's such a wonderful... You demonized this guy not even fucking, 3-4 years ago? I remember that. And I'm kind of sitting here going like, wait, how have we forgotten this? There was actually news outlets that were calling Ukraine one of the most corrupted countries in the world. Damn, now the press loves them. Man, y'all fucking turn. The MSM, y'all are some shysters. You really are. Dude, you will change your opinion in a split second. It's a popularity contest with you. But that's what happens when you've got MSM that is not actually fact-based. It's journalism opinions. It's opinion journalism, excuse me. I wouldn't even call that journalism. Poroshenko, president, corrupt as hell, who came back and said he was going to fight for Ukraine. Bro, this is partially your fault. A lot of this is your fault. He was the one in the video that there was the Russian guy in the back, or the Ukrainian kid in the back, who had the magazine fall out of the AK, and apparently it was empty, because when you heard it hit, remember that? I saw that. It's interesting. Now, Russia, bro, they did this one good. And they're not wrong on this one. And this is why it worries me. What Marjorie Taylor Greene said in regards to administration, a wartime administration, and I agree with her. Look at this. You think the world doesn't see this? It does. Listen to this headline. Russia says Biden spouting personal insults with Putin war criminal accusation. Russian officials on Friday. Now listen to how they say this. This is probably one of the most smooth insults I have seen on the international stage in quite some time. This isn't a Trump little fat man. No. This is smooth. Listen to how they phrase this. Russian officials on Friday said President Biden was lobbing personal insults at Russian President Vladimir Putin by describing him as a war criminal, with the Kremlin suggesting that it will view Biden's comments as being driven by forgetfulness and fatigue. They said, "We hear and see statements that are actually personal insults to President Putin," Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told reporters according to Reuters. Given such irritability from Mr. Biden, his fatigue and sometimes forgetfulness, fatigue that leads to aggressive statements, we will not make harsh assessments so as to not cause more aggression, Peskov said. Bro. They just called the president an old man. Dementia. Short timers. Sundowners. They even know that Biden is a farce. So all of you people that are pushing and all this emotional propaganda, Ted Cruz, all of it. And let me explain something real quick. Because I'm going to warn you, ladies and gentlemen, and you heard it here first. What we see in the press right now, because I talked to Crenshaw about this in the DMs, is like, who's calling for war? It's like, bro, come on, are you kidding me? It's called emotional conditioning. I've said this before. They are emotionally conditioning Americans, much less the world, to stand with Ukraine. They're pushing nonstop propaganda. They're pushing nonstop lies, misinformation, the ghost of Kiev, Snake Island, this, that, and the other. All this bullshit. Hype up these war heroes. Miss Ukraine's out there fighting with a fucking airsoft rifle and some shit like that. It's great. It's propaganda. It's lies. It's misinformation. Because they want you to emotionally connect with the citizens of Ukraine so that if Biden does call for commitment of troops and the no-fly zone and whatnot, you will still support it. Emotional conditioning. So that if the time calls for it, and they say we're going to war or we're committing troops or we're doing this, Americans will support it. Ted Cruz is in on it. All of them are in on it. They're pushing this more and more. Oh, innocent Ukrainians. Yes, they're innocent. But that's what happens when you've got this level of corruption. And if you think America can't go the same route, you're fucking mistaken. You are fucking mistaken. America's going to get us involved. Our leadership is going to get involved in another war. I want to play something for you real quick. Wasn't so long ago.
We give money to Ukraine, and it's bothered me from day one, and you have plenty of people just here. I say, how come it's always the United States that gets ripped? Frankly,
he's right.
Ukraine, we want to help them. And I do like the new president. You know why I like him? Because he was honest. Because he said there was no pressure at all exerted on me, meaning him, by the president of the United States. He said it. By the way, that one sentence should stop this. But he said there was no pressure exerted. But you don't have to ask him. All you have to do is read the transcript, read the telephone call. But what I was having a problem with are two things. Number one, Ukraine is known before him for tremendous corruption. Tremendous. More than just about any country in the world. In fact, they're rated one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
Damn. My, how we forget so quickly, press. My, how we forget so quickly. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Both sides of this are guilty. Both sides of this are evil. They're evil. It's ridiculous. Do you get it now? Are you seeing it? I hope you are. I don't have a dog in this fight. But you can ask any veteran that fought in the GWOT, the Global War on Terror. You can ask any veteran, and they're going to tell you, this ain't our fight. We know what comes with this. This is not good. This is not fucking good. And this isn't even the Taliban. This is another superpower with actual tanks, rockets, everything. That's where we're at. Psaki says Chinese refusal to denounce Ukraine invasion flies in the face of everything China stands for. You stupid bitch. What? What? Psaki says China must stand against Russia invasion of Ukraine. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, she's got to be one of the, oh my God, one of the stupidest people out there, responded to questions Thursday about whether the U.S. can expect China to assess Russia and its violent invasion of Ukraine. Psaki told reporters President Biden has a call scheduled Friday with Chinese President Xi to discuss China's long-term relationship with Russia. The Chinese Communist Party has been characteristically opaque about its intentions. Biden's meeting follows a similar conference between National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and his Chinese counterpart. The president, as I think you've heard him say before, and I've said it, is a big believer in leader to diplomacy. And they have a lot to discuss, given the last time the president met with President Xi virtually was last November, a couple of months ago. The meeting tomorrow, in terms of how we got here, came as a direct follow-up to the meeting our National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan had with his counterpart. They talked about two presidents meeting or engaging in the near future during that meeting. There has been, of course, rhetorical support or the absence of clear rhetoric and denunciation or the absence of denunciation by China of what Russia is doing, Psaki added. This flies in the face, of course, of everything China stands for, including the basic principles of the UN Charter, including the basic principles of respect for sovereignty of nations. So the fact that China is not denouncing what Russia is doing in and of itself speaks volumes. It also speaks volumes not only in Russia and Ukraine, but around the world. China will imprison their own people. What the fuck are you talking about, Psaki? This isn't what China stands for. They were beating the fuck out of protesters in Hong Kong back in 2019 prior to fucking COVID getting released. They were censoring people left and right in the Olympics. Are you fucking high? Bitch, are you fucking stupid? This isn't what China stands for. What the fuck do you know? We are being led by kindergartners. So you'll excuse me. If I look at the likes of our politicians, our leaders, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC, and the rest of these fucking nut jobs, we can do better. We have so many better people to offer, but it comes down to fucking money. And it's a goddamn, popularity contest. These are the people that lead us. And they are so stupid. And let's forget about the genocide of the Uyghurs. I mean, forget that. That's also what China stands for, right, Jen? Of course China is not going to condemn Russia. They're in Russia's back pocket. It's ridiculous. One of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody say. And these people, like, oh my God. Like, you're sitting there watching this on your television. It's like, look, I don't think I'm by any stretch of the imagination like an expert or anything, but I'm fucking smarter than you, and you should not be there. You're a mouthpiece, and you're a stupid one at that. What an amazing woman. Leah Thomas mocked on social media after crushing female competitors. Leah Thomas, a man, got in the water on Thursday and virtually lapped his female competitors as he cruised to an easy victory in the NCAA Women's 500 freestyle race. Thomas faced not only elite Division I female swimmers, but also 2 Olympic female swimmers. The race video was shared widely on social media and showed just how dominant an average male swimmer can be against elite female swimmers. Once again showing that transgender women, men that become women to compete, you're loser men. You're weak men. You can't even compete against your fellow men. You got to go compete against women. Now, here's the other part. You want this to end? Here's how it starts. Stop competing. Refuse to go in the water. Walk out. Protest. I'm not doing this. I'm not competing with him. This is ridiculous. But the left, you need to acknowledge there is a difference. There is a difference. You cannot try and dissuade this conversation anymore, or this argument. You damn well know this fucking, he was ranked 400 and something in the nation. He goes on the women's side of it, and now he's crushing it. Interesting. Interesting to me. Thomas faced not only elite Division I female swimmers, but also 2 Olympic female swimmers. Okay. Colin Wright says, Leah Thomas just took first place at 2020 National Women's Swim. After the race, ESPN gave Thomas an interview in which they didn't even pretend like there was anything weird about what Thomas was doing, or anything wrong with him asserting his inherent male advantages over female competitors. You are trying to cancel women. How dare you? How dare you? To sit there. And if you think there is no advantage to being a male or prior male in a women's sport, why aren't we seeing females turn males competing in men's sports? The DNC is living in denial. You are cancer on this country. You are progressive, perverted party that supports grooming, the transgender. Now, here's the thing. If you want to do the it's your body, you go do what the fuck you want to do. But don't you dare sit there and demand that I respect your pronouns and I do all this bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. To deny science and biology just because your feelings are fit, fuck out of here. No. This is an example of what happens when the world bends to the whims of the minority of people that are mentally unhinged. This is what happens. Yes, but let's promote Drag Queen Story Hour. Let's groom these children. Dress them up in their little outfits and parade them down in these gay pride parades. Yes, absolutely. How is that not grooming? I don't see heterosexual people doing that. Proud to be straight. That's right. Go march in that parade. It's ridiculous. He said, it means the world to be here. You take one look at this dude, he's massive. He's tall as fuck. This is disgusting. This is fucking stupidity. What world are we living in? Dominique Samuels tweets out, this is a man who is stealing opportunities from women in sport. Remove this misogynistic fraud once and for all. Women, it comes down to you. This is your fight. And I'm not blaming you for this, but I'm saying, if you want this shit to end, stop competing. Walk out. Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire talked about this not long ago, and I agree with him. Stop competing and this ends. Transgender athletes have no business competing in either of these. Make them have their own league. You can have your own league. Go compete with each other, and nobody's going to watch it. Jenna Ellis says, why is SportsCenter even entertaining an interview with Leah? Go speak to Emma, the real first place winner. Leah Thomas spent 21 years of his life as a man, said he is now a woman in less than a year, became a national champion in women's swimming, and as a society, we're supposed to accept this as totally okay? It's ridiculous. And here's a picture. If you're watching over on Twitch, I love this. This picture tells you everything you need to know about what other competitors who are actually women feel about Leah Thomas being allowed to compete. Hashtag Save Women's Sports. Here's the picture. Now, if you're not watching on the stream, you're listening to this on the podcast, you've got Leah Thomas on the little podium where they hand out the awards, and he is on the far left where it says national champion. And then the second one is the number 2 place, but there's nobody there. And the number 3, you've got all 3 other female competitors that placed. And there clearly there's a space between Leah Thomas, whatever this dude's name is, and the other 3 competitors. I like this. This is good. You need more of this. Essentially, it's women coming together and saying, this is who we are. This is our sport. You don't belong here. You do not belong here. You're not one of us. This is ridiculous. It's disgusting. This is the world we live in, folks. This is in America. Biden inflation. Amazon drivers launch protests demanding higher pay to deal with gas prices. Amazon Flex drivers and other gig economy drivers have staged a protest outside an Amazon warehouse calling for an increase in pay to deal with surging gas prices during the unprecedented inflation under President Joe Biden. CNBC reports that delivery drivers are pressuring Amazon to pay its Flex program drivers more in order to accommodate current surging gas prices. Approximately 50 delivery and rideshare drivers protested outside an Amazon warehouse near Los Angeles earlier this week. Amazon Flex drivers do not drive Amazon delivery vehicles, but rather use their personal vehicles to deliver packages. As a result, they must pay for their own gas with prices spiking during the Biden administration. Many are claiming they can no longer afford to work for the e-commerce giant. The national average price for gas reached $4.27 as of Thursday, according to American Automobile Association gas prices. A Flex driver named Kerry Selfred told CNBC, "My car used to fill up on $25. Now it's closer to $40. I'm spending $280 a week and lucky to make $500 to $700 that same period." The protest was organized by Mobile Workers Alliance, a group described itself as representative of gig economy workers. The MWA tweeted, "We rideshare drivers are so proud to have joined Amazon Flex delivery workers yesterday to call for higher pay rates during this massive surge in gas prices." I'm not for the federal government forcing any private business to do whatever they want. No, I'm not. But what these people are doing, I agree with it. If you don't like it, you can protest it. But also, find another job. Starve these people of workers. That's the way the system works. If they're not paying you enough, walk out. I don't agree. I think, I agree. Amazon should be paying more. But I don't believe in forcing them to do so. So as a result, these drivers, and I'm not knocking them, please don't take it this way. Protest, boycott, picket that motherfucker. I agree, do it. Absolutely. They should be paying more. But where I stand is I don't believe the federal government should come in there and demand and say, hey, you have to. Like, absolutely not. I don't agree with that. But with these surging gas prices, good job, Biden. This is another little trickle-down effect of you having us so dependent on foreign oil. Good job, Biden. How any liberal can defend this administration with the conditions that have been set forth now is beyond me. I genuinely don't understand that. I mean, I actually do. It's, positive association bias. It's not unheard of, but it's just funny. Oh, my God. The Hunter Biden laptop. New York Times comes out and admits it's real. Oh, look at that. Watch pencil neck shift in 2020 said Hunter's laptop smear story is Russian propaganda. Notice it's always the liberals that are saying Russian influence, Russian propaganda, Russia this, Russia that. Notice how it's always them. Russia, Russia, Russia. It's Russian collusion. You love blaming Russia for everything. Representative Adam Schiff out of California said in 2020 that revelations about Hunter Biden's authenticated laptop from hell is a smear campaign from the Kremlin. Again, yesterday, New York Times said it's real. And it's a shame that we have to go to the New York Times as the truth or not. We already knew this was real. But the FBI got their hands on it, and suddenly, well, what happened? We know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, and they've been pushing this false narrative about Vice President and his son. So-called pencil neck Schiff told an anchor on CNN's Wolf Blitzer. Clearly, the origins of this whole smear are from the Kremlin, and the president is only too happy to have Kremlin help and try to amplify it, he added. Schiff was not alone in claiming Hunter's laptop was likely Russian disinformation, speaking with Senate Foreign Relations Committee member Senator Chris Murphy. CNN anchor Jim Sudo added why he believes Hunter's laptop was Russian disinformation that was constructed by a Kremlin-contacted anti-Biden propaganda campaign. That makes no sense. Russia wanted Biden to win. Russia wanted Biden to win. They wanted this weak, dementia-ridden patient to come into presidency because they knew they could get away with what Ukraine is doing or what they're doing to Ukraine now because they knew Trump wouldn't tolerate it. So the very fact that these emails come into the public sphere by Rudy Giuliani tells you they are coming from the senator trying to support his wild theory. At some point, you kind of have to believe what you see, which is that when individuals are either identified Russian agents or conspiring with Russian agents are providing the information. I gotta stop on this real quick. Hold on. All these people, this is McCarthyism 2.0. Russia, Russia, Russia. If you don't stand with Ukraine, you're a Russian agent. If you don't agree with America, you're a Russian agent. Explain to me why Swallowwell is still in office, who was fucking a Chinese spy. How has this dude not been lined against the wall and shot in the head? A traitor to his own country. You were fucking a Chinese spy. And these people have the audacity of Russia, Russia, Russia. These fucking Democrat retards, I swear to God, you are the biggest enemy America has. If we could just get rid of the DNC, we'd be a hell of a lot better off. I think the pedophile count would go way down, true. You gotta love it. Representative Adam Schiff on the Hunter laptop. Clearly, the origins of this whole smear are from the Kremlin, the DNI, John Ratcliffe. There is no intelligence that supports that. But which one was accused of being political by Dems, intel experts, and the media? FBI examining Hunter's laptop as foreign op contradicting. Intelligence experts suspicious of DNI, Ratcliffe on laptop story. And what happened to that laptop? I know Josh has talked about it a lot on the show. What happened to that laptop? Suddenly it just goes missing. What? You don't say. Fuck the FBI. Fuck the FBI. Fuck the CIA. Fuck the ATF. Abolish these three-letter federal agencies. We do not need them. They are corrupted. They are getting in the way of actual justice. These people do not give one shit about actual justice. They are political arms being utilized against the opposing side. It was discovered and proven true that Obama spied on Trump. The FBI was weaponized against Trump. Lisa Stroh, Peter Stroh, Lisa Page, busted doing it. Nothing happens. This country's fucked. This country's fucked. These people are the scum of the earth. Disgusting, immoral, reprehensible political figures only wanting to achieve money and power that honestly, layman's terms, deserve a bullet to the fucking head. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This is where we're at. This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. All right, don't go anywhere. After the stream ends, I'm going to be still live on Twitch. We're giving away a tankard. And don't forget to go check out shellshockcbd.com. Here is the link. Here is the link for the deal we're running. Spend $100 or more at shellshockcbd.com and you're going to get a free tankard. That's right. These things are made right here in America, American made. They're real wood, sealed on the inside and outside, can take hot and cold liquids. Don't put them in a dishwasher. Use warm, soapy water to clean. They can take hot and cold liquids to include coffee. Made right here in America. So if you spend $100 or more on Shell Shock CBD, and don't forget, we're running a deal right now. 20% off package deals for St. Patrick's Day. That's on the website as well. So you can choose to either get a free tankard or a free mug of your choice. Here is the link right there. Go check it out. We appreciate your love and support. Twitch, don't you go anywhere. We're going to give away, let's give away a mug. Let's give away a mug. You see this mug right here? This is fractal burned. We'll give this one away. This is a nice fucking mug. This is fractal burned. That is electricity that goes through the wood, and then we seal it. It looks incredibly beautiful if you're watching over here on Twitch. Again, all you have to do is be a Twitch subscriber. That's literally it. And also, this comes with the built-in bottle opener on the bottom. That's pretty badass, guys. This thing is worth roughly about $40. Be a subscriber on Twitch, and you're entered to win. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't you go anywhere, Twitch. We're going to be right back. As for the rest of you, I will see y'all bright and early with Josh back at my side. Thank God, because I need him. I miss my guy. I miss my beautiful bearded husband, Josh. We'll be back Monday on the All American Savage Show podcast. As always, don't forget to follow me on Truth Social, and I'll see y'all